Florida sells sunshine and magic, but not every attraction delivers. Millions of tourists pay premium prices only to feel cheated or disappointed. Here are 20 places in Florida tourists wish they'd skipped. Hard Rock Casino, Tampa. The Hard Rock Casino in Tampa promises a taste of Las Vegas without leaving Florida. It boasts a diamond-rated hotel, a concert venue, and rows of flashing slot machines. Visitors expect the same energy and value they'd find on the Vegas Strip. But gambling in Florida comes with a catch. Since casino gambling is heavily restricted across the state, the Hard Rock charges premium prices for an experience that feels far smaller than its reputation suggests. Rooms, drinks, and table minimums all carry a steep markup compared to actual Vegas properties. Guests looking for the real Vegas atmosphere often leave feeling like they paid full price for a scaled-down copy. Wynwood Walls, Miami. Wynwood Walls built its name on something rare, free world-class street art in the middle of Miami. For years, visitors could wander block after block of massive murals from artists around the globe, completely free of charge. That's changed. What was once a free outdoor gallery now charges admission just to walk through. Longtime visitors say the surrounding neighborhood has followed the same pattern, replacing local galleries and bars with chain stores and parking fees. Tourists who show up expecting the free, gritty art scene from a decade ago often leave surprised they had to pay to see it. The Florida Mall, Orlando. The Florida Mall draws over 20 million visitors a year, making it one of the busiest shopping centers in the state. On paper, that kind of traffic suggests a can't-miss shopping destination. In person, it plays out differently. Stroller traffic jams the walkways, some stores rope off entry lines, and the parking lot fills up like a stadium event on weekends. Food and merchandise prices run higher than a typical mall, as if every visitor is treated as a tourist willing to pay extra. Shoppers hoping for a relaxed afternoon often end up navigating crowds instead. Sawgrass Mills Mall, Sunrise. Sawgrass Mills advertises itself as one of the largest outlet malls in the country, with deep discounts across hundreds of stores. The promise of designer prices at bargain rates pulls in shoppers from across the state. The reality is less impressive. Many stores stock outlet-only merchandise at quality levels below their regular retail lines, while prices often match what shoppers would pay anywhere else. The mall's sheer size means hours of walking, and finding a car afterward in the massive parking lot becomes its own challenge. Bargain hunters frequently leave with sore feet and smaller savings than they expected. Old Town, Kissimmee. Old Town markets itself as a nostalgic slice of classic Americana, complete with vintage car shows and a retro main street. The idea of stepping back into old Florida charm draws in families looking for something different from the big theme parks. Once inside, the charm fades fast. Most of Old Town is souvenir shops, carnival-style rides, and overpriced snacks dressed up in a retro theme. The novelty wears off within the first 15 minutes for most adult visitors, even if younger kids enjoy the small rides. Travelers hoping for authentic local culture often find a shopping mall wearing a costume instead. Coral Castle, Homestead. Coral Castle's story is its biggest draw. One man, Edward Leedskalnin, is said to have carved and moved massive limestone blocks by himself in the early 1900s, and that mystery has pulled in curious tourists for decades. The visit itself doesn't always match the legend. Many guests say they came away feeling like they'd paid for a good story rather than an actual attraction. The structures are unusual, but the payoff falls short for anyone expecting something on the scale of a major historical or natural landmark. For most, it works best as a quick stop, not a planned destination. Monkey Jungle, Miami. Since 1935, Monkey Jungle has offered a strange twist on the typical zoo. Humans walk through caged tunnels while hundreds of monkeys roam free overhead. It's a concept that sounds unlike anything else in Florida. The price tag doesn't match the setting. General admission runs around $20 to $30 per person, with special add-on experiences costing another $60 to $150 on top of that. Reviewers describe the grounds as rundown, with faded signage and aging exhibits that haven't kept pace with modern zoos. Visitors who show up expecting a polished wildlife park often leave calling it an overpriced relic. Silver Springs State Park. Silver Springs has been drawing crowds since the 1870s, back when it became home to the very first glass-bottom boat. Its crystal clear water and abundant wildlife once made it one of the most famous attractions in the entire state. Today, the reputation and the reality don't always line up. Visitors who remember the park from decades ago describe overgrown grounds, closed shops, and a parking lot so empty it feels abandoned. The glass-bottom boat rides themselves remain a highlight, but many guests say the park around them badly needs repair. Longtime fans returning after years away often leave calling it a shadow of what they remembered. Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Clearwater Marine Aquarium rose to fame as the real-life home of Winter, the dolphin featured in the movie Dolphin Tale. That connection alone draws families from across the country hoping to meet a movie star. The scale of the visit doesn't match the fame. Admission runs about $30 for adults and $25 for children, a steep price for what is a fairly small facility housing a limited number of rescued animals. Visitors often finish the entire aquarium in under an hour. Many leave, suggesting a trip to one of Florida's free beaches instead, where dolphins can sometimes be spotted in the wild at no cost at all. Icon Park, Orlando. Icon Park promises a boardwalk-style entertainment district anchored by the 400-foot Orlando Eye Ferris wheel. The pitch is a sweeping view of the city and a lively strip of attractions in one stop. In practice, the Orlando Eye charges $30 per person for a slow ride that mostly reveals the same traffic and crowds guests were just standing in. The surrounding park is also home to several other attractions. Locals rank among the worst in the city, all competing for the same tourist dollars. Visitors expecting a signature Orlando experience often walk away feeling like they paid for a view of what they already saw at ground level. Everglades Alligator Farm. The Everglades Alligator Farm promises an up-close look at Florida's most famous reptile, with wrestling shows and swamp buggy rides layered on top of the main attraction. The name alone suggests an essential Florida experience. National rankings tell a different story. Review-based studies of tourist traps across the country have placed this farm among the worst in America, citing high prices for an experience that can be seen for free in state parks and preserves throughout Florida. Visitors hoping for something exclusive often realize they could have seen the same animals for the cost of a state park entry fee. Gatorland, Orlando. Gatorland brands itself as the alligator capital of the world, promising close encounters with Florida's most iconic predator. The name and the marketing suggest an all-inclusive wildlife adventure. The base ticket only covers basic walking paths and a few shows. Nearly every additional activity comes with its own charge. Want a zip line over the gators? That costs extra. Want a photo with a baby alligator? Another fee. Families quickly find the final bill climbing well past the advertised admission price. Visitors looking for a complete experience without constant upselling often say the park nickel and dimes its way through the entire visit. Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Busch Gardens Tampa Bay combines African-themed animal exhibits with roller coasters spread across 335 acres, promising a full day of thrills and wildlife in one park. The bill adds up fast. Admission runs over $100 per person, with parking adding another $25 on top. Visitors report spending more time standing in line than actually riding attractions, while food prices inside the park can easily double a family's daily budget. Guests expecting a smooth, well-paced day often say they spent more time waiting than enjoying what they paid for. Discovery Cove, Orlando. Discovery Cove sells an exclusive tropical escape, with swimming alongside dolphins and snorkeling through artificial reefs. The premium price is marketed as the cost of a private, uncrowded paradise. That promise doesn't always hold up. Guests report the exclusive feeling disappears once the park fills to capacity, with some visitors saying they were accidentally kicked by other snorkelers in the crowded reef areas. The tropical island atmosphere the park sells in its ads gets harder to find once everyone else shows up too. Travelers paying top dollar for a private escape often end up sharing it with a crowd just as large as any other theme park. Universal Studios Orlando. Universal Studios built its name on bringing movies and theme parks together, with rides based on Harry Potter and other blockbuster franchises drawing millions of visitors each year. The cost has become the most common complaint. A single-day, two-park ticket runs around $175 for out-of-state visitors, and a review of over 127,000 guest comments found more than 1,600 specifically flagged the park as expensive. That total doesn't include hotel costs, food, or souvenirs layered on top. Visitors who come purely for the rides often leave saying the ticket price overshadowed the experience itself. WonderWorks, Orlando. WonderWorks stands out from the street with an upside-down building design that promises something strange and exciting waiting inside. The building alone has become a photo stop for passing tourists. Once inside, many guests say the experience doesn't match the exterior. Reviews describe broken exhibits, dim lighting, and an admission price of around $20 for adults that feels steep for what amounts to an hour of entertainment. Some visitors have even reported getting sick after a visit, citing poor cleanliness inside the building. Guests expecting the same wow factor as the building's exterior often say the inside tells a very different story. Ripley's Believe It or Not, Orlando. Ripley's Believe It or Not promises a building full of bizarre artifacts and oddities, including items tied to famous Florida history and unexplained mysteries. The price doesn't match the payoff for many visitors. Admission runs about $28 for adults, and most guests report finishing the entire attraction in under an hour, with several exhibits broken or out of service. One visitor summed it up by saying they would rather have set the money on fire. Travelers expecting a half-day of entertainment often find themselves back outside within the hour, wondering where the time and money went. Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Kennedy Space Center promises an inspiring walk through America's space history, from the earliest rockets to the shuttle program. For space fans, it sounds like a bucket list stop. Many visitors say the experience doesn't live up to that promise. Guests describe overcrowded exhibits, bus tours that rush through each stop, and admission prices that climb fast once every additional exhibit and experience gets added on. Reviews have called it everything from a huge disappointment to the biggest waste of money on a Florida trip. Space enthusiasts expecting a moving tribute to space exploration often say it felt more like a commercial operation than a museum. SeaWorld Orlando. SeaWorld Orlando combines marine animal shows with roller coasters, promising a mix of education and thrills across one massive park. National rankings haven't been kind. Analysis of millions of visitor reviews places SeaWorld among the worst tourist traps in the entire country, ranking it third overall. High ticket prices, added costs for food and photos, and long lines between attractions all factor into the frustration. Guests expecting one of Florida's premier theme park experiences often walk away comparing it unfavorably to nearly every other option in the state. Epcot, Walt Disney World. Epcot promises a trip around the world without leaving Orlando, with pavilions built to represent different countries and cultures inside a single Disney park. Business Insider named it the single worst tourist trap in all of Florida. Daily tickets run between $89 and $109 before food or drinks, and much of the park has aged without the updates seen at Disney's other locations. Many guests describe it as feeling neglected compared to the rest of the resort, with less to actually do than the ticket price suggests. For a park built on the promise of exploring the world, most visitors leave saying they got a lot less than they paid for.